the race that everyone's talking about on the banks. We're in the heat of the Diamond Challenge Sculls, and we have Olympic champion Ollie Zeidler on the right of our screens, and on the other side, Edward Gardiner on the left of your screen. This race is kicking off. This event has had such a huge entry this year, and it is always a joy and a privilege to see Ollie Zeidler racing at Henley. He has such incredible history here, and he wants more. But of course, he hasn't been seen since the Olympics racing, and so, you know, we don't really know quite how fit he is. We don't really know. He hasn't been at all the World Cups, and Edward Gardiner wants to test him and has gone out really in such a feisty manner.
I'm loving seeing this from Ed Gardiner, actually, Kath. I'm on the Durham alumni WhatsApp group, and Ed himself, a member of the Durham alumni contingent, and everyone was very excited to see this race with him against Zeidler today, but knew it was going to be a pretty tough mountain to climb, and he is a bit of a man mountain, isn't he, Ollie Zeidler? And look, he's really getting into his stride now, that rating rocketing up through the roof. But like you say, I think we're not going to get much of a benchmark today from Zeidler, but I'm so intrigued, given the year that he's had, not off fully, I know he's been training, but not racing on the international circuit, as to where he's going to match up.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and he'll be learning a lot. He'll be finding that as well. I mean, he knows what it's like to race here, but there are no real easy races, and he'll have had that lung-burning sense as he came out of the island. But, you know, he always loves coming here because of the technical challenge, but also the feel of the regatta, coached by his father. Often his grandfather accompanies him as well, his grandfather, who's Olympic champion in 1972, and he's connected with where he always stays, a little place up the lane. And you know, it's brilliant that for him, if he was going to race somewhere, it had to be Henley. And look at that supreme view of an Olympic champion on the waters at Henley.
I think it just goes to show the importance that this regatta holds in a lot of people's hearts, including Olympic champions, and all the way through from Olympic champions down to first-time rowers, beginners, novices who have this in their sights, that you know, keep coming back for more and more. There on screen, well, that is Ed Gardiner of City of Cambridge, the 27-year-old who, this is his 6th time racing at Henley Royal Regatta. He represented England in the men's single at the Home International Regatta back in 2019, so that's the sort of race between England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and also competed here in the Prince Albert for Durham University back in 2019. So lots of pedigree himself, but my word, you know, again, when you talk about luck of the draw, drawing Ollie Zeidler, both a blessing, a privilege, I guess, to line up on the start line next to someone like him, but yeah, pretty tough challenge.
So. I think it's a major life moment, major life opportunity, and City of Cambridge Rowing Club will be cheering Ed on, as I'm sure there'll be so many fans and supporters of Ollie Zeidler cheering him on, representing here the Frankfurter Rudergesellschaft Germania 1869. Und herzlich willkommen an alle Zuschauer, die in Deutschland uns jetzt bei sind. Wir freuen uns, dass Sie bei uns sind.
I can see Nigel Longley from Frankfurt on the launch following Ollie Zeidler. He'd be very pleased and impressed, Kath, that you were addressing our German listeners who are tuning in to watch Zeidler, you know, walking this heat of the Diamond Challenge Sculls, but that's what you'd expect from an Olympic champion, I guess, and well done to Ed Gardiner for qualifying through to this round of the competition.
Such an impressive athlete, and in fact, in a way, what impresses me is almost how he handled the disappointment of Tokyo, where things didn't go to plan, and how he was able to keep a perspective on that, actually, you know, say there's more to life than this, and regroup and have that campaign, and then such an unbelievable race with Simon van Dorp, who we've seen earlier this afternoon, so we could well get a rematch of the Paris final almost. On the waters in a few days' time. You know, he's such an impressive, more than an athlete.
Totally, and I had the privilege of speaking to him at the head of the Charles Regatta back in October, where he was racing with his partner Sophia Meakin in the mixed double sculls, yes, and also in single, and he was saying that his life has changed since winning the Olympics. He said it's like nothing else. He feels like he's more of a celebrity than he's ever been, and you could see it. He was walking around in Boston with school kids coming up to him asking for photos, and he really did say that, you know, it's a seismic shift once you've won the Olympics, that you become this figure, this idol, this figurehead that, yeah, like I say, lots of people will be crowding the banks to watch him here at Henley.
And interesting, even such pedigree, such an incredible athlete, transcends our sport. You know, he's wobbling on the water here, right, because it's difficult at Henley. And one of the reasons that he came was to challenge himself. He used to find the rougher water more challenging in the international races, and deliberately sought out the challenge of the water at Henley to keep himself at the highest level.
Yeah, and he's got a couple of days, like you say, to shake out some of these little twitches against the competition that isn't at that Olympic level. But he would face Van Dorp on Saturday in the semi-final if both progress as expected, Kath, so he needs to do that. But again, I just want to shout out Ed Gardiner one more time. He was so unexpected to qualify here in the Diamonds, which was an absolute ambition of his, and here he is, racing Ollie Zeidler.
He's done a great job. There he is, Ollie Zeidler, Olympic champion and Royal Henley favourite. Who the enclosures have cheered Ollie Zeidler, and everyone in the enclosures has also cheered just as heartily for Ed Gardiner, who rode a brilliant race down there too. So, to confirm that in that heat of the Diamond Sculls, Oliver Zeidler from Germany beat Edward Gardiner.